UMAMU is inspired by balance and contentment. And I first got involved and introduced to balance when I was getting to know the vineyard. And I realized if you've got a balanced vine, then you get balanced fruit, and then everything else dominoes. So we have balanced winemaking, so the oak that we choose pairs with the fruit so that neither overpowers each other. And then we wanted our wines to drink well on their own, but to also pair with food. So that's been a huge one for me, creating recipes that pair with the wines and having fun trying different foods and thinking which wine's going to go well with that food. So I have this innate eagerness to do that, and I love doing that aspect. My mom was a real go-getter, and my dad was the pillar of calm. And I remember my mom telling me that my dad's dad, my grandpa, said to mom once, World War III could happen and Mac would be absolutely calm and not be disturbed by it. They both definitely have calm. And if you look at their handwriting that we've encapsulated in our labels, they are so consistent and calm and beautiful. All the labels and everything that we did when they were alive and what I do now have really given the memory and the foundation for me to keep going. In the 80s, all us children, we were in England at boarding school, and my parents would go to Sydney every Chinese New Year and stay in the same hotel, eat at the same restaurant for the first night, and order my dad's favorite Meursault from Chateau Meursault in France. Then one day, the sommelier very apologetically said, I'm so sorry, sir, but we've run out of the Meursault. Can I recommend you a local equivalent? And that wine turned out to be a Chardonnay from Margaret River. Mom and Dad had never heard of it. We come from Malaysia. So then they discovered Margaret River, came down, and it became their most favorite part of Australia. They built a house. Then 1997, my dad decided to go and visit this vineyard, and within a minute said, right, we're gonna get this. And you didn't think anymore, it was very spontaneous. So then we got the vineyard, and then my mum insisted that we planted the Bordeaux blend inspired by our dear friend Auntie May of ex-Chateau Pichon-Lalande. So we planted Merlot, we planted Cab Franc, and I guess Mummy must have had the foresight that one day we might make wine, because this was just in 1997. But I'm so glad she did, because we now do produce. 2001, I finished my MBA, and then my dad said to me, how's about it, girl? Do you want to create a wine brand? And I said, okay. And then one day I actually said to him, Dad, how come you didn't just buy a wine brand? Why did you want to go and create one? And then he said to me, what would be the challenge in that? When coming up with a brand, I wanted the name to be something the customer could relate to, but also that as they reflect on their life, to see, their own balance and contentment. And of course, I want to make them proud, right? Any child wants to make their parents proud. So I thought about it a lot, and I had a list of reasons for it. So I wanted 5 letters after the 5 elements, 5 senses. I wanted it to be a mirror image, and I wanted it to be a food wine. So 5th flavor of food is umami. I wanted it to be a calm name. And so I chose UMAMU based on all those different prongs. At the events, people come up, they love the pebbles. I'm really happy to share that the name has gone down well and people do like it. Margaret River is blessed. We're right at the southern western tip of Australia. We are hugged by 2 oceans, and because of that, everything is kept fresh. And we work really hard at how we manage the canopy so that we get these wonderful winds can flow through and keep everything clean and tidy so that humidity is at a minimum. We spend a lot of time making happy fruit. Then when we go to the winery, we have this balanced happy fruit that we pair. We use French barrels because our grapes are quite elegant. I've learned that even in our winemaking, the size of the tank that we use is important, so that when you're settling the wine, we want it to settle as quick as possible so that we're not having to add more additives to keep the wine fresh. It's the freshness, it's the weather, it's the fact that we get a really long, in an ideal vintage, ripening season. We ripen in a long period of time, so flavors keep gathering, and that's what makes the wine more interesting and more complex. We are at the mercy of Mother Nature. I would say 1 in 10 years is always going to be tough, but at least we've got the other 9 to be calm with and keep going with and produce good wines. I find it amazing that my father, within a minute of visiting the vineyard in '97, decided to get it. I guess our roots in family have been in agriculture. It was a huge challenge. It still is a huge challenge, but I am very happy to be able to want to continue to produce these wines. And I've now labeled every wine that I've produced since losing both of them McAnn. And I hope we can continue to produce wines that they would be proud of and that you enjoy.